Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and aliens of multiple hearts, we are live on the Lonely TARDIS, your weekly journey into the wonderful world of Doctor Who, brought to you by three lovely companions. Myself, see, I'm actually saying I'm lovely, the one, the only Sean Norton,
Hello.
and the one, the only, the amazing Marcus Beer.
I have never been lovely. I was even annoying.
I don't know. You got the gorgeous facial hair right now. It's good.
It is a good
It's
look.
like it's a clockwork of facial hair on the screen. I got like stubble. I haven't shaved. I've like the shadow. Sean actually shaved 4 times today, but this is what it looks like. Yeah.
Well, no. It takes a long time, but I did shave. I got a nice shape up today because I'm going on vacation tomorrow, and I wanted to be on camera with you guys first. So I actually had a professional shave this mug, and it's nice. It's I guess
I haven't shaved in 3 months, and this is all.
Well, this is like what my situation as well. I do not grow up very quickly. But gentlemen, it is phenomenal to see you this evening, this day. We've got a fun episode. We're going to talk about Doctor Who, which is always good to talk about. Always love.
Otherwise, this would be a very strange podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were going to talk about Battlestar Galactica and it's called the Lonely TARDIS, there would be a branding issue there. And considering there are 3 people skilled in branding, we would not be good at our jobs.
We're going to talk about Andor and the phenomenon. Just kidding. We'll do another show about that. But let's talk about Doctor Who. Let's talk about Lux. Last week's episode, where the Doctor attempts to take Belinda home, but oops, ends up in 1952 Miami. 15 people have disappeared in in an abandoned cinema. Come to find out, it is the Lux Imperator, the god of light, and a member of the pantheon of Discord, by the way. These gods they're being come. Lux traps the Doctor and Belinda, and they finally escape. And exposed by light, Lux just keeps expanding until he becomes the same size as the universe. That's basically it. And everybody comes back. So let's go Sean. Me. Okay. All right.
You should start us off this week.
We talked about last week's episode, right? Last week's episode was the Robot Revolution.
You guys were not big fans of that one.
Not a big fan of it. I did enjoy this episode, and maybe it was by comparison. I was thinking about the previous episode, but there was some goofy fun, I feel, in this episode. Love the set pieces, awesome set design. I love the setting, really cool, kind of similar. I love the animation. I actually kind of like the animation aspect. Just go fourth wall crazy. Reference the fans. I thought that was just kind of this cute little thing. A very an unserious episode where the Doctor cries again. An unserious, goofy episode that does tie into a lot of the stuff from last season. But I did like it. I mean, it didn't rock my proverbial world or worlds, but it definitely came away with it thinking, all right, that was, as a singular episode, this is what Doctor Who is today. And,
it felt very hooey, didn't it?
It felt very hooey. I like that. It felt very hooey, and I was okay with that. And I wasn't
with that. Yeah,
I like. Okay, we're gonna
400 years on this podcast together, and I just came up with hooey. Yeah,
3,700 episodes later, very hooey. But no, yeah, I totally agree. It felt very hooey, and I was okay with that because sometimes you just need a palate cleanse, and that's what this sort of felt like. Yeah, I know some people are gonna be. They're gonna think, oh, this character, the antagonist was hokey. Not very realistic, but guess what? Doctor Who has robots and robotic dogs and Cybermen.
I thought they were very true to the mischievous gods that we've been introduced to.
Yeah, it's true. The mischief aspect.
For better and worse, and I assume we're doing the freewheeling episode style where we kind of just all bounce off each other. I think for better and worse, though, they have been very consistent. When he reintroduced the Pantheon, with the toy maker and the maestro and this God of Light or whatever.
Yep. Lux Imperator.
It is Lux. Yeah, I'm sorry. He's been consistent tonally with what they are like and how they mess with people and their vibe. So I thought it was spot on for this. I thought it was a ton of fun and really true to what he's established in these grand overarching universe spanning villains. So
I will say, so Alan Cumming did the voice of Lux, and I like Alan Cumming from a lot of the other stuff he's done. He had the American accent, man, the 1950s Miami cartoon, that accent from that era, and I'm like, oh wow, he really went all in.
Laugh.
Don't make him laugh. Mr. Ring-a-Ling or whatever it was? Ring-a-Ding. Marcus, you've been quiet.
Yeah, no, listening. It was in comparison to Planet of the Toilets, it was 1,000 times better. And let's face it, I mean, if you're in an oasis and you haven't drunk anything, also you're in the desert and you haven't drunk anything for a month, even toilet water is going to look good. But it was the lowest of bars the week before, but this was a marked improvement. The writing was better. Could do without the crying. Do not need the crying. The crying now. I mean, it's on the stage.
Crying.
So many outlets are noticing it, and it's becoming a meme. It's so bad. And it just takes away from anything now. Every time you see him crying,
it has been every episode except for his debut, by generation regeneration. Yeah. It's been every episode.
So
it's just because he didn't have time.
Yeah,
he didn't want David Tennant crying.
True.
This was the episode that I was really worried about. So obviously, the cartoon.
Sure, I remember you were saying that. Yeah,
I thought it was going to be rather twee, but it wasn't. It was dark.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. There was a lot of balance there. I thought the whole, the set piece of 1950s Miami, thought it looked great. I thought the cast were great. All the various character actors. I think the way they touched again on some of the racism that went on in that time was very good, because it was very subtle. And when it's Doctor Who being subtle, it was a total 180 from the week before. So the fact that it was a double helping with the Doctor and his companion, and she brought it up. I thought that was just great, smart writing. I thought it was a good episode. It was a good, solid episode, and something we needed after the like I said, the dreck that we had.
What did you guys feel about the fourth wall aspect? Because there was a lot of it in this episode that the Doctor obviously spoke through the cinema, had that whole side. Then there were the fans, the actual 3 fans talking about their favorite episodes, and none of them mentioned Shooty's episode. I thought was perfect.
He was like, "What about the landmine? No. What about the robots? No.
What about the babies? Nope."
It's great because it felt so unexpected.
Yeah.
You didn't expect them to come out into somebody's TV into what we perceive as the real world. I mean, as it turned out, it was just another trick of the gods. But yeah, I thought that was great. And we had Mrs. Flood again.
Yeah, at the very end. Yeah,
she's been breaking the fourth wall over and over, and she didn't
a lot
in that episode. But I mean, it's obviously building to something. There's got to be a payoff, and otherwise, Russell T Davies is just fetishizing over little old English ladies.
As one would.
This one is quite purposeful now. It's not like last season where she was just showing up and then we figured out it was because whatever. Like, she very clearly seems to be hunting him, which means she's hunting him through time, which means it is very, very, very interesting. So,
and she directly mentions
hunting
that
maybe isn't the right word, but she is following him.
Yeah. She mentions that it's a limited run that ends on the 24th of May. So
that's what I'm saying, man. There's some timey-wimey stuff going on here.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. And I told myself I wasn't going to get baited again by him after the way he dropped the ball so badly at the end of season 1. But God damn it, I can't help myself. I'm like a junkie.
Right.
I think for me, I've given up all expectation.
Sure.
I am literally... it's not that I've stopped caring as such, but an episode is an episode, and if it's good, great. If it's bad, meh. We do know that Doctor Who is currently in a sorry state of affairs.
Right.
There's a lot. Even now, the Guardian's written an article talking about potential cancellation at the end of the season when the Disney deal is up. Do they ship it to Netflix? Do they try and self-fund and make it smaller? And they did. It has been reported that if it does continue, it will move back to, and we've discussed this before, it's regular time slot, and then everywhere at that time slot. The rest of the world will have to adhere to the British time slot, which is as it should be, because the viewership, I mean, sorry, it's a British show, and the viewing numbers were much better when it was all coming out at the same time. Right now, it's all wishy-washy and piecemeal. So,
sure.
I mean, Russell T Davies can be very divisive, and the fact that we've gone from the highs of the Tennant specials to these peaks and troughs. It's been peaks and troughs, hasn't it? But Lux was definitely not a peak, not peak, but it was a vast improvement. I did enjoy it, and I think it's pretty. I wasn't expecting to. I was expecting to.
Same. I agree. I agree with you.
It was a really cool premise. The gods thing. Wrap it up. I mean, we know we've got 3 more weeks. Wrap that shit up so we can move on and we can figure out we've got a Doctor Who next season.
Yeah, there are only 8 episodes this season, so
well, and Ncuti Gat was actually on stage all next year. In London. So we're gonna.
Is it the whole year? He's out the whole year doing.
And they generally tend to film from like February through to the end of summer. So yeah, I think we'll have a regeneration. If not now, if we have a Christmas special, we'll have it then.
What's interesting, by the way, is he hurts his hand and uses residual regeneration energy to heal himself.
Yeah. I'm just. I mean, there's a lot of look. We could literally drive ourselves cross-eyed. To figure out all the different permutations. I mean, Sean's the one who goes down the Reddit hole, and look what it's done. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was a good episode. It was a good, solid episode. It wasn't the greatest by any stretch of the imagination, but it's certainly of the 2 episodes that aired this season, it was comfortably the best at that time.
There's a lot to like. There's a lot to like. The fourth wall break could have been terrible. It could have been terrible. And it was fun, and it was played for laughs and a little bit of a wink and a nod to the fandom and the leaks and just what it's like to follow this show, which I really appreciated. And they didn't try to pretend it was us. They didn't try to pretend it was the real world. But getting a glimpse of that was cool, and it could have been handled so much worse.
Oh, it could have been
and there's a nice little stinger in the credits with them, which makes you I doubt we'll ever see that again, but it makes you think like, wait, how are they still? Anyway, that's the kind of stuff I love about Doctor Who. And the darkness, which you had mentioned before, like this was a god who he could really go dark. What happens to film when it's flammable or whatever, and they're trapped in the film? They're like the kid is trapped in the film and stuff. Like that's good stuff, man. That's like simple yet intimidating. Like it's the type of Doctor Who horror that it's not necessarily subtle per se, but it's also not big scary monster clawing people's faces off. It's like I have the ability to completely warp reality. I have trapped a dozen or 2 people in a film strip, and if I just dangle my hand right here over the flame, that's it. They're gonna die in a horrifying way. It's good stuff. Like it's compelling TV. It's a compelling monster, and it's like this thing's made of light. How are you gonna beat him? And then there's like the little cheeky moment where the fans are like, "Have you really not figured it out yet? Not really subtle, Doc." I don't know. It just felt really solid. And then there were really good. We had talked about last week about how this Doctor really hasn't had many, if any, moments. You think about Tennant, you think about Smith, you think about Capaldi. I don't know what to think about Jodie, but you think about all of them, and they have their moment. They have their speeches. They have their character arc. They have their defining traits. And Ncuti has felt like more of a mishmash of that. But there are some great lines this episode. There was he was going to help her in the diner. He was explaining to Belinda why he wasn't allowed in there. And she's like, how do you stand this? And he said something like, I've conquered worlds. Like, are you kidding? This is nothing. I do it because, in spite of it, or because I want to, or because it'll be better, or whatever. We have to be the change. And those are really great moments. And then when the god tricked them and thought that I was so mad for a second because I didn't realize what was happening. And I was like, that conniving old word I don't want to say, coming in here and tricking him and the cobra skin and everything. And they had me. The whole episode. They had me. And then I don't know about you guys, but when I popped so big when the laugh happened with the giggle.
Yes.
Oh my god! I jumped off the couch. I turned my wife. I was like, "Oh,
that's happening!" Yeah.
Oh, it was just good. And then he's like, "We should leave at the end," and he doesn't stay for the accolades. He doesn't. He made sure everybody's okay, but he realized it's still 1952 in America.
Yep. They make a lot of references to that, especially with the in the diner.
Yeah, and it made him sad, but he rose above it, and it was just great to see. It was. To Marcus's point, I don't think it's going to go down as like a top 10 episode of all time or anything like that, but it was just solid Doctor Who.
Yeah.
With good message, good villain, and good performances and writing. Like everything clicked. Everything clicked. And we didn't have that problem we had last season where all of a sudden it's one episode in and the companion is just like doughy-eyed, like, oh my god, this is amazing. It's like I've known you forever. This happened right after the first episode. Yeah. And she was like, okay, home now. And he's like, well, I do one more thing. She's like, I don't care, home now. And even by the end, she's starting to come around a little bit, but she's like, you're dangerous. Like, this is a whole thing. I don't really know how I feel about this. I love it. I love that they're doing something different with that. It just feels so fresh.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. The Scooby-Doo. Yeah. Great point.
I'm Velma,
I agree with that. I totally, Sean. I think I'm now seeing Belinda kind of becoming her own, definitely her own character. Unlike Martha was maybe the lowest in terms of just kind of like actually getting a character to be someone unique. And then they dropped the ball with Jodie's companions several times.
I don't even remember one of the dudes' names. I think it was Graham. It was Paz or Kaz or.
But I mean, one of
the Yaz.
Yes. And then her friend, and so
she had the personality and character depth of a wooden door. So it was like,
and but I think Belinda has her personality is definitely coming through because she has a little bit of she's a nurse, she has a little bit of a doctor wanting to help people in her, and at the same time, like you said, knowing when my job's done, I gotta go. I gotta get out. I want to go back. I really want to go back. And the doctor carries that device, that they're starting to talk about that device and how that tool that he can get back. And so it's a very interesting take. And by the way, I did love the explainer for the clothing and how, they had almost the Benny Hill style scene of her running into one door and coming out the other dressed like to the, and I think that was actually really cool for newer audiences, because that question does kind of come up every once in a while, which is like, how's the doctor always prepared? Well, remember, this is a TARDIS. When it stops, it's still sort of in this time flux. You can go change, you can go have a coffee, take a nap, whatever you want to do, and come out, and then you're in. Which I thought that was a really nice little fun effect. And again, it was sort of a fourth wall-ish answer for newer fans who kind of asked those questions. So I mean, enjoyable episode.
I agree. Yeah, and
not groundbreaking, by the way.
No, I thought it looked great though. I thought
it did beautiful visuals. Yeah, the colors, the
episode. It really felt like the 50s, which was nice. Obviously, it was self-contained, but I do find it a little odd. I don't remember if we talked about this or not. He has such a big, bombastic, bubbling personality, and they have such a big, bombastic budget. And his TARDIS is the most boring freaking snow globe TARDIS you've seen since the Eccleston days.
It looks like Marcus's room right now. Bombastic personality.
If you took Marcus's room and blew it out,
huge budget.
Globe, like
boxes, light bulbs, and a place.
It's so weird. It's such a strange choice. Agreed. It's just a strange choice.
Yep.
So the first time we saw it, though, it looked really cool. But that's because it was Tennant's, redo, and the fact it didn't change again, only they added a jukebox. The jukebox hasn't really done anything.
Yeah. No, the first time you see it, you just assume it's going to evolve. He's going to put more things in there. He's going to get seating and stuff on the wall. And that's what. Nah.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. It's just weird.
Let's move on to the next episode.
Come on. How many? Let's give a quick rating. How many chocolate shakes from the 1950s you guys give this out of 5? 3. I also give it a 3.
It's solid.
I liked it a lot. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Oh boy,
yeah, I liked it a lot. We'll see how it ages too. I'm looking forward to rewatching these once everything's done and seeing how they all go together.
Definitely. Well, with that said, we're gonna sign off for this episode discussing Lux. And if you're lucky and following us, you may be joining us for another episode. Until that episode airs, though, this is the TARDIS crew signing off for Dolly, Sean, and Marcus. Toodles. Woo!